Whoa, MG, it's Saturday, and do you know what that means? It's time for a new project. I'm Rox of RoxStarBakes, and this week we're gonna tackle 3 things. 1, how to make a mini cake sale. 2, how to bake a cereal milk cake. And 3, how to use an ice cream scooper to frost a cupcake. Let's get into it. We're like this. Throughout the video, I'll share recipe cards and tool cards for the 3 things I'm tackling. Save this video or take a screenshot. So now on to making mini cupcake sails to look like a milk splash in a bowl. I use 1.5 cups of candy melt for this recipe. Melt in the microwave in 15-second increments or with a candy melter. I add a teaspoon of Easy Melts to get this consistency. If you don't have that, coconut oil works just fine. Here's what worked best for me. I used a coupler or 3 small water bottle caps taped together and saran wrap. Take the piping coupler and lay the saran wrap over and spread the cling wrap. I tested making a splash a number of ways, with mini bowls, with small balloons filled with water, with small balloons that were empty. I also tested white chocolate versus candy melt, and my assessment, this tastes delicious, it's less expensive, and it's easier to find. For demonstration purposes, these are pretty close together. I would spread out the sails further apart. Then pipe into the desired shape. I find it helps to have 5 points. Let cool completely. The cooling time differs based on how thick the sail is. You can check if it's dry by tapping. Should be dry to the touch. See, this is still wet. 5 minutes later, now it's dry. Carefully peel the saran wrap from the outside towards the center. This is pretty delicate. Let's get into making the cereal milk cupcakes. So we're not rushing, I like to get all of the ingredients ready, prepped, and room temperature. Then I line the cupcake tins and set those aside. I start by making the cereal milk. You can use any cereal for this. The cake is actually still awesome without this step, but if you want that extra flavor punch, you can toast 1 cup of cereal. Combine 2 cups of milk and let sit for an hour to overnight and then strain. The output we want is 1 cup of milk, but the cereal absorbs a lot of the milk. If what results is less than 1 cup, just add a little more milk to make up the difference. If you want a whiter cake, you should skip this step and just go with the 1 cup of milk. Sift all of the dry ingredients, all-purpose flour, cake flour, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. And now set aside. Cream the butter and sugar for 5 minutes. It gets really nice and fluffy and almost doubles in size. On occasion, remember to scrape down the sides. Add the egg whites in 2 halves for 20 seconds each. And mix on medium-low. Now let's alternate adding in the dry and wet ingredients. Dry, wet, dry, wet, dry. Always end on dry. This will prevent the batter from curdling. Mix until just incorporated at each phase, and remember to scrape down the sides. I added the vanilla with the second half of the milk. If you have a minute, please hit that like and subscribe button so I can keep making projects each week. Now I'm adding the cereal to the batter. Make sure to dust 1 cup of Fruity Pebbles, or whatever cereal you decide to use, with 1 tablespoon of flour for this step. I do this so there's a more even distribution when baking, and so it won't all sink to the bottom. Mix until just wet. Here's when I like to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now fill the cupcake tins 3/4 of the way. I bang the tray 1 or 2 times to help the batter settle in. Add some extra cereal to the top for extra texture and crisp. Yum! Now pop in the oven and lower the temperature to 325 degrees for 17 to 19 minutes. No need to rotate in the oven unless your oven bakes drastically unevenly. The top becomes a little golden. When ready, use a toothpick to test the cupcake. There should be about 5 crumbs, meaning the cupcakes are still moist. See how fluffy this is? Let cool for about half an hour before decorating. If you're not ready to cake decorate, you can refrigerate the cupcakes for 3 days or freeze for a month. Part 3. In this section, I'll tackle how to frost a cupcake with an ice cream scooper. I'll link the size scooper I use in the description below. This cake batter makes about 16 to 18 cupcakes. Use the cupcake portion of my Swiss meringue buttercream recipe and you should have the perfect amount. I don't color the frosting because I want it to look like milk. So this is how I do this. Fill the scooper and bang a little to release any large bubbles. I connect the buttercream to the cupcake. I press the little handle thingy and then I pull the scooper away in a perpendicular manner. So not a 45-degree angle, but just directly away from the cupcake. Then I add cereal along the edges. And then I add the cake sail, pressing down a little to make sure it's stable. Done! Baking and decorating success! Do you want any other cereal cupcakes or a cereal cake video? Thanks for watching. I hope you have a stellar week and I'll see you here next Saturday. Bye.